take you today into the journey of microbial biotechnology. So a little bit of background, how and what we are doing, and then what are the considerations. But first, maybe imagine that you can significantly enhance crop yield and produce safer foods without polluting environment by using biopesticides rather than conventional pesticides. Or imagine you can make a feed additives that are traditional, that significantly reduces methane emissions from agriculture, which is one of the major greenhouse gas emissions. Or imagine you can degrade conventional plastic by using enzymes from nature that are degrading polyethylene. Or imagine you could produce vitamins such as vitamin B12 or vitamin A, naturally avoiding complex and environmentally problematic chemical synthesis that is being used for production today. Those are basically all examples of real projects that we are developing at ACS Bio with our partners. In last 20 years, we grew from a small team of 4 young scientists to a partner of global corporations with a team of more than 100 researchers and developers that are developing new technologies and bringing early stage ideas to life at Ljubljana Technology Park, where we have our synthetic biology innovation unit, and that are industrializing new products developed at Technology Park at our Kamnik Industrial Fermentation Facility. And essentially, we are using strength of world's tiniest creatures, yeast and bacteria, to help solve some of the real toughest challenges that humanity is facing nowadays. And humanity as such, we have been using microbes for millennia already, and traditional microbial biotechnology, which is in essence what we are doing, is using those microbes to enhance properties of food and beverages. Either it is for better taste, nutrition, or enhanced shelf life. But basically, we have been using yeast, for example, to make bread, or to make beer and wine since 6000 to 4000 BC. And on the other hand, we've been using lactic acid bacteria to produce sauerkraut or yogurt for approximately the same time. But with the surge of biotechnological techniques such as genetic engineering, which is daily used at ACS Bio, we are teaching the same microbes basically to produce other molecules that we need and we benefit from. Those microbes can be great pesticide, vitamin, antibiotic, or novel therapeutics producers. What we can do is basically take genes from other domains of life, such as plants, and design microbes that are producing new molecules that we want to produce. For example, in one example, we took a biosynthetic pathway, so genes that make production of carotene possible. We took that from plants and we inserted it into a yeast, turn it into carotene rather than ethanol or alcohol producer. And we actually saw that yeast turns orange when we do that, meaning that the production was successfully established. And then in the next step, we go and optimize that production in a small scale and then scale that. We produced a feed supplement for chicken. This natural carotene was a substitute for a synthetic variety that is nowadays still used in chicken feed, and is giving an egg yolk its bright color. So in the end, we have the same final product that has this natural yellow color, but it is produced via sustainable way of doing things. So this is an example of one thing that that we do and bring to life. And the foundation of our development is our smart route, and it's a very technical slide here, but maybe this is an integrated platform that can make us a single development partner throughout the development process. These are all the steps from an early stage idea to final production process that we need to, or the companies that we work with need to go through in order to come to a production process. Of course, this is to some extent still a trial and error process, and we are trying, especially in these first early stages, a lot of different genes and combination of genes in order to make new production strains. And at the beginning, we start with more ideas that we want to try, and as we scale, we narrow down on the complexity and go on with the technology readiness levels. And using that smart route technology, our partners, rather than working with 3 or 4 different companies along the way, can work through a single point of contact. But nevertheless, this development is still quite long. It takes several years to finalize the technology and then another year to scale. And when we start with a new technology, you have to start from scratch all over again. But on the bright side, this development is fairly similar in different industries. We've developed processes and products for our partners across all of these end industries. And naturally, we asked ourselves along this way of doing this for many times for other people, why are we only doing that for other people? Why are we doing this heavy lifting of technological breakthroughs that are very risky, takes a lot of time, and when we succeed, basically our path is finished, and we don't have that much of the uptake on the commercial side. Why shouldn't we take our ideas and bring them to the market ourselves? As we know how to make this technologies so good, we can choose one product, make it industrial, and then people will come to us and they will be buying the technologies from us, and we'll have really happy project that will be able to sell to our customers. And we actually went and we did that. We were exploring different potential products. We were building product concepts, and basically we looked at a lot of different potential products and how to use them and what is the size of the market, and through then funnel of classical project refinement with proper stage gates tied to specific KPIs. We were redefining these projects, and we really tried to do it, by the book, how they teach us at university, right? So in the end, we should finally come to the perfect projects that will just have the right balance of technological complexity and will have good market potential, and will go out on the market and will sell it. And after approximately 7 years that this technology, this idea generation and project development took us, we actually successfully brought our first product on the market this year. First, let's say more than 10 years, we were more working on the service base, where we were really working just as a service-based company. Now we worked for quite some time on the project development, and we have this first new project. But with this new stage in the product development, new questions appeared. Which specific problems are we solving for our customers? What is the regulatory pathway that we need to take? Should we go through direct sales, or should we go through distribution? Should we build up the sales expertise? And what is the product market fit, and how to make the marketing for that? And what is is this a drop-in product, or is this a new functionality? And it's what we brought on the market is a novel biostimulant used in agriculture industry, and we actually questioned then ourselves in last few years. Can we replicate these questions over and over again, and can we do that in all of these different end markets that I explained before? So can we do it in agriculture, in industrial biotechnology, in food, and we have to then build up this more market-focused expertise for each of our new products. So we actually went back to our foundations, and maybe we can do it, but after like this, let's say, soul searching of what is the perfect product for biotechnology, we decided that we took a different approach. We went back and say, okay, where we are strong, and it's a science of microbial biotechnology and know-how on how to develop efficient microbial production processes. And what we've seen in recent years is that there are really huge technological advancements in biotechnology, and nature is really a source of indefinite inspiration. There are 250 million known protein sequences, 100 billion of estimated sequences that exist in life, and basically through the advancements of protein computational protein structure prediction, we can now access majority of this inspiration now. Only last year, the Nobel Prize was given to Demis Habbabis, John Jumper, and David Baker on that, and we are using that already now in the lab. And on the other side, we can now also engineer what was unengineerable 15 years ago. We essentially shortened the genetic engineering timeline from months to days, and by gene synthesis cost dropped by around 200 times in last 15 years. We can nowadays engineer things that were not engineerable 15 years ago. Basically, what Emmanuelle Charpentier and Jennifer Doudna did is a revolution which I only dreamed about during my PhD, and that PhD is approximately 10 years ago. So there is really a huge advancement, and biology is advancing from being a scientific and sometimes artistic discipline into more engineerable discipline. And as such, biology and biotechnology as a community looked into different industrial concepts from more mature industries, such as car industry, and they have a concept of a chassis where they are using the development of common parts that you need for different models, and apply them for the same models, and basically reduce the time and complexity of the development of new things. And basically what we did the same. At ACS, for example, we developed a protein production chassis that can be used for rapid testing of proteins production potential and its industrial viability. That proteins then can be used as in agriculture as biopesticides or biostimulants, as enzymes in industrial processes of production biodegradable material, or as functional proteins delivering animal-free alternatives in food with the same taste, functionality, and nutrition. And having that chassis, ACS can now work as an equal development partner for either startups with a early stage idea or global corporations, allowing them to use our proprietary strains and advance their projects much faster. With this partnership, we have a global reach and impact we can only dream about if we were thinking about one single product that we want to bring on the global market. It's not just about proteins. We've developed several other platform technologies as well, and we are partnering those technologies and platforms with a broad variety of partners across different industries. Through that concept, we became really truly an integrated provider of microbial solutions, and through development of foundational chassis technology, we are now doing not just the heavy lifting of others, but we are participating as a crucial part of the new technologies that we are scaling with others. In recent years, we've established several public partnerships. We're developing sustainable surfactants for shampoos with global biggest chemical producer BASF, or we are producing a platform chemical with AlgaeChem, also one of the global leaders in chemical synthesis, that will significantly reduce the usage of oil in chemical synthesis. We are developing enzymes that are degrading plastics and many others. And as many of these technologies are in early stage of development, we know that several of them will fail, but some of them will succeed, and those will be really the foundation of the product, the new product that will be better and more sustainable, and you'll be using them in, let's say, next 5 to 10 years that will be on the market. And maybe to conclude that part, what really matters is, I think you have to build your core strengths, and you're not allowed to sleep, because technological advancements are now much, much faster than ever, and you can really quickly become technologically obsolete. You have to find your purpose within your strengths, and I think that rather than with one big leap, the changing of the world, of the society, of the products that we are doing comes in small steps, but we have to make money of those small steps. And maybe a true strength of biotechnology is not in one team doing the best, great, next technology, but it is in partnerships, and those partnerships are the only way that we are pushing things together when we are competing either with other industries that are nowadays producing the products that we are using, or when we are competing as a geography, as Europe, against other geographies in the world. And maybe just a final note on when I realized that what we are doing at ACS Bio actually makes sense is when I was back at my parents' house, and I was talking to a farmer, a neighbor of ours, and he was telling me that you come from biotechnology, and there are these new things that we're getting, and I just switched to a biopesticide from a classical chemical pesticide that I've been using for last 30 years. And during this conversation, I realized that part of the technology that he is now using was actually developed at ACS Bio, and we developed the part of the production process for that biopesticide. And then it's actually when you see that what we are doing is not just, we are doing something in the lab for others, but it's actually out there, and people are using it, and they like to use it, and they know that it's for good. So I think that's what really matters in the end.